everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown. And, well, it's only been a few days since Bryan Kohberger pleaded guilty. He took that plea deal, and the marathon of motives is ongoing all over the internet because everybody is so angry about he didn't state what his motive was in the horrible, horrible Idaho 4 crime. 4 people he murdered, and he's just staying silent about his motive. Well, I want to tell you right up front that a person who commits a crime like this is likely a psychopath. Psychopaths are pathological liars, and they only tell the truth when it's useful to them, and they lie when they feel like it. Any motive he might give you, you cannot be sure is actually any motive at all. It's what he wants you to believe. He might even ramp it up a little bit to really irritate you, merely make it more angry than you already are, just because it would be fun for him. So he's never going to tell us the motive. Well, he could tell us one day a motive, especially to an FBI agent who's writing a book or for a documentary, but you can't necessarily believe them. So we have now many people chiming in on what the motive is. And I can tell you what the motive is, but first I'm going to tell you what other people think. This one just came out in Daily Mail. Bombshell, of course. Dr. Carol Lieberman, who has more than 2 decades of experience analyzing criminal behavior, can't help but notice the striking resemblance between 2 of the victims, Madison and Kaylee, and the middle school cheerleader who once rejected Kohberger. She believes the killer's rage may have been triggered by a disturbing psychological pattern, one that saw Kohberger project years of accumulated rejection onto victims who reminded him of the girl he pursued obsessively as a teenager. Okay, so she came forward, and I think she told the FBI at some point, oh, look, it could have been because of me. All right. I'm pretty sure that all of us have been in middle school and liked somebody, and that person went, yeah, whatever. And we didn't get them, especially cheerleaders, you know what I mean? So may that have happened that he liked her and she didn't want much to do with him, especially since she's only in junior high school, for God's sakes. You know, she's not even a high school girl, you know. And so she writes him a little note and says, go away. But according to this psychologist, is that this guy killed these 2 women because of her. And she's thinking, maybe it's because of me. All right. There's no proof of that. Did that add to maybe his incel-ness? Because it does seem he has an incel-like kind of personality. Sure, it could have. And every other girl it could have. But is she the instigator of it all? Is it all coming down to her? I mean, is that his motive? He's going to kill women that look just like her? And by the way, just want to point out, when you're in certain areas of the country, there's a lot of blonde girls. There was this thing about with serial killers. It used to be a thing that the profiler would say he's killing women that look like his sister or his mother because he was mistreated in the family. But what would happen is he simply killed women in the neighborhood, and most of the girls in the neighborhood looked like the women in his family because they, once upon a time, there were pods of ethnic groups, and that's why it used to also be that black men are killing black women and white men are killing white women. The serial killers, they only kill within their race. No, they don't. They could care less. It's just that was what was in their neighborhood at one time. Now that there's more integrated neighborhoods, guess what? White serial killers are killing black women. Black serial killers are killing white women. They don't really give a crap. Race isn't important to them. It's like, who's available? Like, here comes a woman down the street. Oh, look, there's nobody around and I can grab her. She's a 20-year-old attractive woman. Nobody around. Oh, let me check my race list. Oh, I don't do this race. No, they don't. They're like, yep, I'll take her. That's the way they think. So just because he once liked a blonde girl in middle school doesn't mean that is exactly why he's killing these 2 women, because they look like her. And then there's another story out there I just read, and it was a woman now, who said when she was a child, she played with him and she wonders whether it had something to do with her. Is everybody going to come out and say, it's all my fault? And that puts, I want to be in the newspaper. I want to be in the media, and I want people to take my picture. And now I'm out there, I mean, I think that either you really are concerned that you have this horrible feeling that you could have actually caused this in him. Okay. Or you just want publicity and you're a narcissist. I don't know which one it is, but That's not what it is. So let's take a look at Catherine Ramsland. You know Catherine Ramsland? She was his I'm just looking for her. I had a bio of her up here, and I just lost my bio over here. She is Catherine Ramsland. Okay, so she is an author, and she's authored a massive amount of books, and she is a professor of forensic psychology. She was his professor of forensic psychology in his criminal justice program. Now, she says she had no clue that this guy was a psychopath. She was stunned by it, which is concerning because you taught him all these. You didn't see it in him? Okay. Yeah. Maybe you were busy. Maybe I wouldn't have either. I don't know. But maybe, Catherine, Dr. Ramsland, it's you. He wants to impress. Maybe it's a big thrill for him to see if he can kill these people. You didn't even know what he was about when he was in your classes. He can kill all these people and come back to class and sit there, and you have no clue. Maybe that was his motive. Maybe she should think, oh, it's all about me. So here's the problem, guys. We can always think pick out one thing and say that's what it was about. This is what triggered it. But that is not the way it works in these cases. Serial killers, mass murderers, they all have the same motive. The motive is this: power and control. That's it. Power and control. Now, how they can get power and control will vary from person to person, just like it does in our own lives. How do I get power and control? Well, through my work, through my relationship with my family. Some people get power and control through money, family name, because they become famous star. Some people get power and control through being part of the cartel, being a mafia member, whatever, being the only good drug dealer in town. Who knows? People get their power and control from many, many things, but we all want power and control. Because who wants to live in a life where we don't have control of any sort or any power of any sort? People strive for that, and that's why we work hard to gain, hopefully, enough legal power and control that we can do what we like to do, and we can also be good people, because the types of power and control we have available to us aren't hurting other people. Maybe they even help other people because we have that level of power that we're able to do something. Maybe we do. Let's say you for whatever reasons, you come into a lot of money. That gives you power. You could use it for good or you can use it for evil. Which way are you going to go? So power can, you got the two roads on that. Two roads on control. If you feel you can control your life by doing these things and then your life works well, it's all good. That's all good. What happens if you can't find a good way to control things or control people? And then you find other ways, by manipulation, by abuse, or by murder. So when you take a look at a mass murderer, goes into a school and blows all the kids away, why did he do it? Was it because he was bullied? Well, you could go back again and say, well, this person did this and this person did that, and that made him unhappy. Well, of course, a lot of things in his life probably made him unhappy. Maybe the way he grew up, maybe he's always been psychopathic since he's been very little, which I believe is already in place by 5 years old. Maybe he's had all kinds of issues, and you could just line them up. You could just line a checklist off. But which one triggered him? Or does he get to a point in life where he realizes, and this is what usually happens with serial killers and mass murderers, they come to a point where they realize that they're not going very far, that somehow they're failing in life. They're never going to have their moment in the sun. Big motive. Moment in the sun. They want that power and control to have that moment in the sun where they're finally freaking somebody. So you go into a school and you kill all those kids. You get your face in the paper. You get your name in the paper. Everybody talks about you and talks about you and talks about you. Everybody talks about him, don't they? He's made it. He's finally got his moment in the sun. He's got that power and control he always wanted. And a lot of times when we assign motives, sometimes with mass murders, they say it's bullying, can be racism, it can be politics. People come up with all kinds of crap. But in reality, the fact that they lack power and control in their regular lives, where they feel like they're never accomplishing what they would like to be able to accomplish, people don't give them enough respect. They don't get enough respect. They can't get a date. The wife has left them. They can't get a promotion. They didn't do well in high school. They weren't popular in high school, and now they're out of high school and they're pretty useless outside of high school too. Nobody really gives them the time of day. They can't get that power and control, so they say to themselves, "What's one way I can get it? What's one way I can get that moment where everybody will look at me and they will know who I am, and they will say, 'We had no idea. Look what he did. Look what he accomplished.' Sometimes in one moment in time. Wow, that's something." Because he becomes famous, maybe infamous, but famous nonetheless. Somebody who nobody paid attention to, nobody really liked that much. Now this guy is somebody. This guy gets way more publicity than I get, right? And he's going to, I swear to, when he gets in that prison, he's going to have the journalists, the FBI profilers, the documentary people, they'll be all over him. And unfortunately, because our prison system allows characters like this to have contact with the public, which they should not, he will now live maybe his best life behind those prison walls, which is why one of the families definitely wanted him to get the death penalty. So I feel for them, because one of the problems we have is when we do have a death penalty, if it were enacted quickly, we wouldn't have this guy on the face of the earth. You know, they're the loved ones who are no longer here, who can't enjoy life. Well, at least he can't enjoy it either. But when you don't have a death penalty, or you have a death penalty that is never enacted, then you've got a guy who in prison is able to breathe. He's able to eat. He's able to play games. He's able to watch TV. He's able to read books. He's able to talk to people. He's able to go and play sport, lift weights and all that stuff they do in prison. And he gets to go on prison dating sites and date women. And sometimes, because of the laws, he'll even get to marry them and have sex with them in prison and have babies with them. There's still some places out there, I think, are like that still. I'm not sure. I can't remember how many places have shut that down. But if you can go to prison dating sites, just go and put in prison dating site, and you'll get to see how many people are on those dating sites. And so they're getting a date from prison. And on top of that, then they become famous, and everybody wants to have them in their documentary or pick their brain to understand mass murderers more. And understand them, even though we've got enough crap out there already. We don't need really more books and more documentaries on how the brain of these guys works. But he's going to get all of that. So that's why it's a little bit annoying that he is going to continue to live his life in prison, because unless they block him from the public, he's going to get all of that. So there you go. That's what I think. I think you can come up with all the marathon of motives. I mean, it's just going to be a new one every day. But it really just comes down to the desire for power and control. And at the moment that this kind of crime happens, it's the day in the sun. Now, it's for a serial killer, power and control, they're kind of smart about it, because they kind of, they get their moment, their thrill, and then they wait, and then they do it again later on, and then they do it again later on. So they keep getting their thrills over and over and over again. As far as their day in the sun goes, it's only in their own head. They get their day in the sun when they go, ha, nobody knows I did this. And I'm seeing this girl's picture in the paper that I murdered, and they're all looking for me. They're looking for me, but they don't know who I am. That's still their day in the sun. Only they're so smart, they get their day in the sun over and over again. He just gets it one time. And now, if he hadn't gotten caught, would he have done it again? We'll never know. Thank God. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. New to the channel, like and subscribe. And please, no more motives. No more motives. Bye.